start with, give us a broad sense of what you are currently working on. And it would be great if you can give us a flavor of some successful and maybe some not so successful implementations from your journey.
Sure. Yeah. So, as you said, I'm currently working on Microsoft Copilot. So it's one of the most ambitious kind of projects that the company has, and my org, I'm very devoted to this project. And and when we work on different facets of it, it's a behemoth is really large scale product. So there are different aspects of it, and I'm focusing a lot more on the personalization aspect of this. So how can we we have these AI agents, but how can we sort of make them more personalized? How can we steer them in the direction of what this specific user would want to do, right? If I go and type something on ChatGPT, I are going to get exactly the same response, or maybe with slight variation. But we, as within Microsoft, we might have more information about the user, since you are part of an enterprise or part of an organization. And so, we believe that we can certainly steer this, make this more personalized to, what the users would actually want to do. Okay. And that's, what I've been kind of focusing on recently. And you also said something about success of AI projects. And I'm gonna, keep things towards projects rather than products, because I'm, not a very sophisticated product person. Yeah, no, it's very interesting. As going, I think we are sort of realizing that we do need to kind of go old school, right? Start asking those same questions that we used to ask maybe 30 years ago, right? Is AI the right approach here, right? If we are trying to solve a problem, I know that there is this is a lot of interesting things happening across industry, that people's and teams charters are changing. They're saying, can we bring AI here, and maybe at times just for the sake of bringing AI, right? So you don't have an obvious sort of problem that AI can solve. So I do think that we need to kind of start thinking about that. Always ask this as the first question: that is AI a viable solution here? And even if AI is the viable solution, are we in a position to apply AI here, right? So we might not have all the resources, and a lot of these systems require data, or require certain type of data and compute resources. So are we in a position to kind of even if AI is a good solution, there is still a trade-off, right? You have to kind of figure out. So that way there are lots and lots of problems, right? Lots of projects that I can look back, if we had, I worked in social media, and yeah, and a lot of my bulk of my work over there was in natural language understanding, and building products for users based on understanding piece of text, and that text can be in multiple languages, and even in a single sentence, the text could go from 1 to 3 languages, right? So if we had all these tools back then, right, like LLMs and the modern AI, that would have really, really immensely helped us, right? So so there are examples that that you have to do a lot of work in terms of traditional machine learning, and I mean, we were doing sophisticated deep learning tools at that time, and I think we did train transformer models and all, but we were still not there was nothing like this, right? Like these pre-trained large language models that we could have used. So there are many such examples where if we had these tools, or even the companies that are working on this today, working on social media or other platforms where you have you are working with natural language text, user generated text, you can these tools, the AI tools, modern AI tools, can be really, really helpful. Okay. And I think that's going to be one success, for sure, one success story. And even in my current work also, when we think of enterprise users, you write documents, you write emails, send chat messages, right? So it is possible to think of a user in in this like natural language modality, right? So I do believe that these sort of use cases are very amenable to taking advantage of the modern developments in AI. And yeah, and I can think of like some not so successful cases also, right? Like, I mean, if we are trying to, I come from a background in recommendation systems, and I'm really curious about this problem of like, how can we, can the modern developments help in solving recommendation problems, right? And traditionally, you would, like accrue a lot of user data on like going back to like Netflix price. So you would have users were rating movies, so you would like need to have like a set of like actually a large set of user ratings for movies, right? And only do any kind of modeling with that, right? So it's fairly data like hungry, data intensive as a problem, right? And I wondered like how like modern technology can help in there. There is a lot of work that's going on, a lot of literature, but I have not seen any like actual application as a that has been sort of built into a product. But that's something I would be very excited about.